Labour Party conference officially began today, but if Sir Keir Starmer's top team hoped it would allow them to move on from a week of negative headlines, well, it hasn't gone to plan. This morning, fresh claims over gifts as the Education Secretary told ITV News it was hard to turn down free Taylor Swift tickets. Tonight, there's another headache. Labour faces a fight on the conference floor over its plans to cut winter fuel payments. From Liverpool, here's our political correspondent, Carl Dinn.
This should be the most exciting Labour conference for years, but the question over donated tickets, holidays and clothes haven't gone away, even if one of the party's biggest donors doesn't think the sums in question are that significant.
What do you think about the issue of donations being used for clothes and stuff? Is that fair enough? Is that just part of politics?
I think it's a bit overblown, honestly. The sums of money involved are really rather small. If you look at the total sum of money that Keir, I think, has taken in donations since he's been leader of the Labour Party, it was less money than Boris Johnson took to refurb number 10.
Amongst today's speakers was Angela Rayner, visibly moved to be appearing here as Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you. I'll try not to get too emotional.
She is also defending her declarations over a stay at a donor's apartment in New York.
I don't believe I broke any rules. I had the use of the apartment and I disclosed that I had the use of the apartment. In fact, I think I was overly transparent.
Ministers are now bending over backwards to demonstrate transparency. Listen to the Education Secretary on accepting Taylor Swift tickets.
Look, I'll be honest, it was a hard one to turn down. I appreciate there was big demand for the tickets. It was a privilege to be there. One of my children, was keen to go along. It's hard to say no if you're offered tickets in those circumstances.
But what the Labour Party really needs here is to find a way to move on from the row about donations.
And Carl joins me now. Carl, this is Labour's first party conference since winning the election, but it looks like it hasn't changed the fact that the unions still have significant influence over the party.
No, indeed, and Labour's biggest union backers, Unite, now say that they have secured a debate and a vote on the floor of the conference hall tomorrow on reversing the Chancellor's policy on pensioners' winter fuel allowance. Viewers will remember that the Chancellor has removed that from all but the poorest of pensioners. And tonight I asked the Unite General Secretary what she expected the government to do if, as might very well happen, the unions win that vote.
Well, what I expect them to do is to listen. I mean, this is a really cruel policy. Most people cannot understand how you've picked the pocket of pensioners and left the very, very wealthy completely untouched. It's a cruel policy and it absolutely needs to be reversed, and that's what we're going to ask Labour to do.
It is a very unpopular policy amongst many people here and amongst many unions. Now, it remains to be seen whether they are all willing to embarrass the Chancellor on the day she is giving her speech to the conference. If the unions do win the vote, it is not binding on the government, but it does put the Chancellor in a very difficult position if her own party tells her to reverse course on this. It could happen. It will come in the hours after her speech tomorrow. The best that can be said for the leadership in all of this is that it might at least knock the stories about freebies off the front pages.